Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the lecture series on network theory. This is lecture number 26, and we are into module number 5. Okay, so in the previous class, we have discussed about the previous two classes. In fact, we have come across the introduction to two-port network and also the various parameters which can be derived from the two-port network. So namely Z, Y, T means A, B, C, D parameter and H parameters. Okay. Now, so today now we shall continue our discussion, and here today's topic is a little bit interesting here. So if you consider the today's topic, what we have to understand is, so we should be able to express one parameter in terms of other parameter. So I will tell you why it is required and how it will be useful also. So if you consider the actual topic now, considering the actual topic here, so what we are doing right now is, suppose if I have a network, some network here, okay, then if I ask you to calculate the Z parameter, so you will calculate it by some means, by either KVL, KCL, by using some network reduction things. And again, if I ask you to derive from the same network, okay, so from the same network, again, if I ask you to derive the Y parameter also. So here you may think that again you have to go back to the network reduction and you have to express in terms of Y parameters. And similarly, if I ask you for transmission parameter or ABCD parameter and H parameter, so if I ask you to express all the four parameters, then there is no need to analyze this circuit again and again. So once you analyze Z parameter, so from Z parameter only you can express Z in terms of Y, Z in terms of T. So similarly Z in terms of H. So the objective here is we should be able to express Z in terms of other parameters, that is Y, A, B, C, D and H parameter. So Z, if you take, how do you express, say for example, if I take one uh, condition here or one example, so expressing Z in terms of Y. So that means, how do we actually relate Z? So Z we express it by V1, V2 as a function of I1 and I2. Now, if you want to express Z in terms of Y, so you have to consider the Y parameter. How do we express Y parameter? I1 and I2 in terms of or as a function of V1 and V2. So once you get the equation I1 equal to something and I2 equal to something, you have to extract what is V1 and what is V2 in terms of this, so that you will be able to express Z in terms of Y. Similarly, you have to follow the procedure for T and H also. So, did you all got the basic idea what we are actually discussing? Yes? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So fine. Now, if you consider uh, this thing over here, Now what we have to do is, so I will take up one example so that you will come to know one by one. Okay. Now if I consider first conversion here, so referred as this is usually referred as, see, all of you, as I have told you already, maintain a separate notebook and note down the class notes also. So the reason for giving 1 hour gap in between the class, except a few days, is that only. You have to note down that. Okay. Okay. Anyway, now coming to the objective here. So what we are discussing is we will be able to interrelate each parameter. Okay. So let us start with the z parameter. So objective here is what? We have to express z in terms of, which are the possibilities, y, t, or abcd parameter, or and h parameter. Okay. So in this, let us take the first one. See, if we take the first parameter, first expression here, that is z parameter, z in terms of y parameter. Okay. See here, one trick here is, so you should know the expressions of each parameter. That means, so I am means we want to express z in terms of y. So whatever z definition is there, z11, z12, z21 and z22, that should be defined in terms of y parameters. So step number one is, in terms of which parameter you are expressing, you note down that parameter equation. Say for example, y parameter. So we want to express z in terms of y parameter. So how do we express y parameter? We express y parameter by I1, I2 as a function of V1 and V2. So if I write this here, so how do we do it? I1 is equal to y11 v1 plus y12 v2, then I2 is equal to y21 v1 plus y22 v2. Let us call them as equation 1 and 2. And here only you have to just make a note of z parameter. So actually z parameter, how do we express it? We express v1 and v2 in terms of, as a function of I1 and I2. So if we consider this, what we get? V1 is equal to Z11 I1 plus Z12 I2. V2 is Z21 I1 plus Z22 I2. Okay, call this as equation 3 and this one as equation 4. So did you call this? Did you got this till equation number 4, everybody?
So,
Yes, sir.
So okay. See now, objective is what? We want to express z in terms of y parameter. So we have to extract. We have to extract these parameter v1, means variables, not parameters. We have to define what is v1 and v2 from equation 1 and 2. But problem here in equation 1 and 2 is, uh, each coefficient of y11 and y12 and y21 or y22 it has either V1 or V2. Say for example, if it is instead of V2, if it is like I2, assume that, okay, just assume if it is I2, then we could have defined V1 directly, right, by taking this side to the this side. But the problem here is what we have V1 and V2 on RHS in each term. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to express the y parameter in matrix form. First you write down in matrix form. So if I write it in matrix form, what I will get? So I will be getting y11, y12, y21 and y22 multiplied by v1 and v2 equal to I1 and I2. So if you take the determinants here, so I can get determinant delta as what now? Delta will be y11, y12, y21 and y22. So this, if you express it in a detailed way, you will be getting y11 multiplied by y22, then minus minus y12 into
Why?
y21. Yeah, what happened? Yes, somebody is telling something. Yes, yeah. Is there any correction from your end? Yes. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
So this will be y12 into y21. Okay. So similarly, you can also define what is delta 1. So if you take delta 1, what you have to do? You have to replace this column by I1 and I2. So you will be getting I1 and I2, and here you can write y12 and y22. So that will give you I1 times y22 minus y12 times I2 or I2 times y12. So anything is fine. Okay. Similarly, if you make a note of delta 2 also, so if you take delta 2, so that turns out to be y11 and y21, I1 and I2. So this I can reduce it by y11 I2. So better you write in terms of I1 and I2. So if you write it in terms of I1 and I2, what you will get is y22 I1 and y12 I2. Okay. So now what we will be getting in terms of this y11 I2 and minus y21 I1. So uh, these delta definitions, they are again important here. So if you consider these definitions, so you should keep these in your mind. Okay. So this is delta, and delta 1 is y22 times I1 minus y12 times I2. Okay. And if you take delta 2, so if you express delta 2 in terms of I1 and I2, so in terms of I1 and I2, you can get it as minus y12 I1 and y11 I2. Okay, so keep these things in your mind first. Okay, so is that clear now why we are writing delta, delta 1 and delta 2? So now if you want to find v1, so can anyone tell me how to find v1? So you have seven equations in front of you. Can you find v1? Yes, am I audible?
Yes.
One of you can tell me what should be the approach to evaluate v1, because we want the things in terms of v1 and v2, so that you will get the definition of z11 in terms of y parameters. Okay, so I will tell for v1. Let us see you will be able to do it for v2 or not. So if I want to find v1, what is the equation? See, in examination also, most of you have written the determinant equations or matrix formed by observation directly. So in the final examination, you will not get marks. So yesterday I have told you what was your approach. So don't follow that approach. Okay, we can discuss about that later. Now, if you take the V1 approach, so if you want to find the V1, what will be the equation? Delta 1 divided by delta, yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So, any difficulties in this step here? See, I'm going slow for first expression here. Remaining things will be same. At any point, if you are feeling difficulty, please let me know. Everyone, are you there?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, multiplied by 95. Okay, see, delta 1 divided by delta is there. So, delta 1 we have already defined. What is that delta 1? So, here we have, that is y22 I1 minus y12 I2 whole divided by delta. See, delta I am not going to write it here. This, okay, let me write it for first one. That is y11 y22 minus y12 into y21. So you can interchange also. So can I write this like this? See here, this is delta, we know already. So still you can write it as y22 I1 minus y12 I2 divided by delta. Any problem here? No, till here.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So let me call this as equation 8. See, now if I rewrite this equation 8 like this, v1 in terms of, we want in terms of, okay, let me call okay, I will write this as delta y just for identification that this is the determinant of y. So this we can call it as y1 also. So, okay, so it depends on your convention how you understand. Okay, so now if I write like this, y22 divided by delta y times I1 minus y12 divided by delta y times I2. Let me call this as equation number 9. This is, so all of you, if you compare equation 9 if you compare equation 9 with which one you have to compare now? We have expressed V1 in terms of I1 and I2. Yes or no? So if you compare equation 9 with equation, which one you have to compare? Okay, 3, equation number 3, this one, V1 with V1. So if you compare, if you compare 9 with 3, so what we get? V1 is V1, okay? Getting that, everybody? And see, Z11
Yes,
I1,
sir.
Z11 I1 will be equal to Y22 divided by delta Y times I1. I1 and I1 will get cancelled out. Now can I write it directly here? Z11 is nothing but what? Y22 divided by delta Y. Call this as which equation? Okay, let me call it with the Roman letter. Okay. Similarly, what else you can define here? Z11 and Z12. Z12 will be minus Y12 divided by delta Y. So we are able to express this here. Okay. So till this point, is that clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes.
So
Yes.
with the similar approach, we were able to find Z11 and or we were able to express Z11 and Z12 in terms of Y parameter. So what is left now? Z21 and Z22. So for that, what you have to do?
Delta 2
Delta
divided by
Delta
Delta 2 divided by delta Y you have to do. Okay. Okay. So let me just create a duplicate of this slide so that we get the things clearly. Just hold on. Okay. We can have multiple duplicates. Just, hmm. So okay. So here we have to just change few things here. Okay. So now coming back to second point here, we have to find delta 2. So sorry, not delta 2, V2. V2 that can be found by delta 2 by delta. So delta is already there. So delta 2 is nothing but is if you express in terms of I1 and I2, so you can get it as minus y21 I1 plus y11 I2. So same thing you can reflect it here, minus y21 I1 plus y11 I2. So let me call this as which was the last equation, number 9, no? 9. So let me call this as equation 10. Okay. So if you uh, get that here, okay, and now if you compare equation 10 with which equation now?
Four.
Equation 4. So if you compare with equation 10 with equation 4, so you will be able to express Z21 and Z22. So we get Z21 will be minus of Y21 divided by delta Y, and Z22, call this as third one, Z22 will be Y11 divided by Y11 divided by delta Y, right? So call this as 4. So overall, if you look into the entire expressions, what we have done is we have expressed Z11, 12, 21 and 22 in terms of Y parameter. So for each of the parameter, we have got the definitions. So Z11 we got it as Y22 divided by delta Y. Z12 we got it as minus Y12 divided by delta Y. Then Z21 we got it as minus Y21 divided by delta Y. And this one Y11 divided by delta Y. See, remembering these things is not a big task here. So it is very simple. So how to remember this? If you want to get Z11, then you take the opposite of, see, if you write here 1 1 1 2 2 1 and 2 2. So if you want to express Z11, so take the diagonally opposite value in Y22 and divide it by delta Y. So everywhere delta Y is there, that is not a problem. And similarly, if you want to express Z22, go diagonally in Y parameters matrix. So you'll get Y11 divided by delta Y. And if you take Z, similarly here, Y12. So, sorry, Z12. If you want to express Z12, then negate this and divide it by delta Y. If you want to express Z21, then same element in the Y matrix, you negate it, divide it by delta Y. This is for remembering. Okay. So in examination, as I told yesterday, first go through the question paper. So you can just derive it there only directly. So if you spend at least 2 minutes in deriving this, at that point you will be practice. After practicing, you can do it quickly. So if you spend 2 minutes, you can get around 8 to 10 marks by using these equations. Okay. So utilize the last few pages for writing the formulas only. So first 10 minutes, you should not start writing the answers. So Just recall the required equations for the examination in that first last 3 pages, including rough page. Okay, so this is how you can manage in the examination. Okay, so now is that clear now regarding expression of z in terms of y?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
One of the questions you can expect,
Yes, sir.
they may ask you z in terms of y, a, b, c, d, or h parameters, or other possibilities also. Y in terms of z, t, h, t in terms of z, y, h, and h in terms of again z, y, and t parameter. Okay, so we'll move ahead and we'll take up the one more thing here. Okay, so let me erase these things. Okay, this option is not there. Okay, so let us go to the second one, second conversion, that is z in terms of t parameters or abcd parameter. So now you need to have a note of z in your mind, or write it somewhere in your book here. So now I will do it quickly here. So first step is what? You are expressing z in terms of what? T or abcd. So step number one, what I told, what you have to do. Hmm.
Taking T parameter.
Rohini Desai is there. Rohini Desai, are you there online? Is she there or no in the list? Rohini Desai. Okay, so somebody was telling the answer. So could you please repeat that?
Taking T parameters.
First you have to define the t parameters or abcd parameter. So how do we express t parameters? Transmission parameter, if you remember yesterday only we have discussed, right? So transmission parameters, we express input variables in input side variables or input port variables in terms of as a function of output variables, but this I2 will be negative. So this we know. So if you write it quickly here, V1 and I1, right? So V1 we express as AV2 minus, hmm, what you have to write? DI2.
DI2 minus DI2.
CV2 minus DI2. So call these as equation 1 and 2 for this expression here. So what you have to do is, see, already if you observe here, one parameter is one equation is defined in V. So you have to check, is it defined in terms of V1 in terms of I1 and I2? No. Second one, no. So we have I2, but we should get rid of this V2. Okay, and here also we have V2. So it is defined as I1. So we have to define V2. So now solving for solving V2 from 2 will give me what? So if I write I1 equal to CV2 minus DI2. So if I solve V2, what will be V2? So that I have to solve. So if you take this, so if I write it completely, I will get I1 minus I1 plus D times this CV2 So that implies V2 will be what? V2 will be I.
I1 plus D into I2 divided by C.
I1 by C plus D
D
by.
into I2
Hmm.
into I2.
So call it as equation 3. So we see, just observe here, are you getting the equation in terms of I1 and I2? That is important here. So we got one equation in terms of I1 and I2. So if you consider the second one, this equation, this is not completely in terms of what? I1 and I2. But we have found what is V2. So you can replace. So using 3 in 1, what we get is V1 is equal to A times I1 by C plus B by C I2 minus B times I2. So if you uh, solve it in a convenient manner, so you should be able to get in terms of I1 and I2. So to solve it further by clubbing I1 and I2 terms one side, so I can have A by C times I1 plus I2 into B by C minus B. So if you solve it further, so what I will be, sorry, here this is A multiplied, right? So A, here also we should get
C
AD.
into D.
Okay, now it is clear, right? Okay. So if you
Yes, sir.
solve it conveniently, so you should be able to get V1 in terms of, so this is not a problem, A by C I1 plus this, you can keep it as it is, or you can just do it like this.
C divided by C.
Okay, uh, let me call it as equation 4. Okay, so now this is quite simple, no need to take delta and other things here. So if you note down Z11, sorry, Z parameters in terms of V1 and V2, we have Z11 I1 plus Z12 I2, Z Z21 I1, Z22 I2. So call this as equation 5 and 6. So if you compare equation 5 or equating equation 5 with 4, you can describe Z11 and Z12. So Z11 will be A by C. Okay, then Z12 Z12 will be what? This one,
D minus B C
AD minus BC divided by C. So if you compare with a similar approach, 6 with which equation? Equation number 3. So you will be able to get Z21 equal to 1 by
1 by C.
1 by C, and Z22 equal to
D by
D
D
by
by
D by C.
D by C. Okay. So overall, at the end you can write you have expressed what in terms of what, Z11, Z1112, then 21 and 22 equal to. So you can get A by C AD minus BC divided by C. Sorry, C. Then divided by Z21 is 1 by C and T by C. Okay, is that clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Sir.
Yes. Yeah, any question?
Yes.
Okay, I think
No, sir.
power is not here. I think you may get some interruption, but be online. Okay. So, okay, let us go to the third one. Am I audible now?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay, fine. So, last one, that is Z in terms of H parameter. So, Z in terms of H parameter means first you have to define the H parameter contents. So, how do we define H? Can anyone recall? Hybrid here.
Voltage of input port and current of output port in terms of current of input port and voltage of output.
Okay, very good. So hybrid parameter means input variable as well as output variable with respect to output variable and input variable. So as one of your friend told, we have to express V1 and I2 in terms of V1 and I2 as a function of, so what I told, I1 and V2.
We
Okay. So if you write it completely, what you will be getting? V1 equal to
V1 is equal
H1.
one
V1 equal to
to
H1
H1
Hmm.
I
I1
I1
plus H2 V2.
H1 to V2.
Okay, fine. So sorry, this is I2. I2 in terms of H21 times I1 plus H22 times V2. So once you get this here, so again you can see same thing. V1 is available, but it is not available in terms of I1 and I2. It is available only in terms of I1. So one of the equation we have to use here. So what you have to do again here? Okay, so am I audible? Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just be online. I will just log out and log in again. Okay. Yes, now can anyone confirm here? Audible?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what about the slides visible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Okay. So quickly, if you take out here, so first what you have to do? So you have to define V2 from equation 2. So from 2, so define V2. So to define V2, so can I write it directly now? You can take minus H21 into I1 divided by H22. I will write it directly, minus H21 divided by H22 times I1. So this one. Then what else we have? Plus this will come to the denominator, 1 divided by H22 I2. So make sure that you are getting in terms of I1 and I2. So call this as, let me call it as equation 3. So where you can use this? Same approach, using 3 in 1. Using 3 in 1, we get V1 is equal to. So uh, here you have to write H11 I1 plus H12 V2 is there. So you put it here. And if you solve, so what you will be getting is V1 is equal to, can anyone solve? So this parameter will be same, H11 I1. Okay. So here plus what we have is H12 times minus H21 divided by H22 I1 plus 1 by H22 I2. Okay. So if you check out this and if you solve it properly, so let me write the equation properly. V1 will be equal to, in terms of I1, we will get it as H11 H22 minus H12 into H21 whole divided by H22 times I1. Then plus just cross multiply with I1. Okay. H12 plus H12 divided by H22. So this H11, you want to express only I2. So only this one will come here. So times I2. Let me call this as equation 4. So now you should be able to describe what is Z11. So if you compare equation 3, okay, equation 4 with 1. Am I audible? No, everyone.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
So now can you continue? Equation 4 with 1, if you compare. So what I can write? Z11. This is a very little bit long here.
One.
So okay, so in short, can I write like this? This is star. Is it fine? So space is not here. Enough space. Yeah, is it
Yes,
comfortable?
sir.
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Z.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, fine. Z12 is this double star, but don't write like this in exam. Okay. So if you compare 3 with 2, so Z21 is this. Let me put as 3 stars. Z21 will be minus H21. Yes, getting that? Divided by H2. And Z22 will be,
1 divided by H2.
let me put here 4 stars. Okay. Yeah, is it fine now? Everyone getting this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So with the similar approach, okay, so to take a small practice assignment, just to try one parameter, y in terms of z. So z in terms of y, z in terms of t and h we have completed. So you just try with the remaining, uh, starting with the next one, that is y in terms of z. Okay. So we shall end the class here now.